Welcome to Janet's Kosher Kitchen. Today we are going to be making ginger cookies. Now this is a recipe that I got, it was a winning recipe from the 2012 Pennsylvania Farm Show, and I've been making it ever since and just love it. So the first thing I do is get my pan ready with my parchment paper. I am going to need a sifter, so I have this all ready to go. And I have my ingredients ready. I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I have a half a cup of white sugar and a half a cup of brown sugar. I have a 1/4 cup of butter and a 1/4 cup of shortening. You can use margarine or Earth Balance if you want to make these parve. I don't usually use shortening for my baking, but I do with this recipe because it really works out better. I have a large egg and I have a 1/4 cup of molasses. Later on, I'm going to use some raw sugar to roll the cookies in. And the other thing that I have that is really the be-all and end-all for these cookies is the spices. So for the spices, I have a 1.5 tablespoons of ginger. Now if you don't have a device that'll measure a 1/2 tablespoon, a 1/2 tablespoon is a teaspoon plus another 1/2 teaspoon. I have a 1/4 teaspoon of allspice. I have 2 teaspoons of baking soda, a 1/2 teaspoon of salt, and a dash of pepper. And that's all in here waiting to go. So the first thing we're going to do is take our butter and our margarine and we're going to cream it. Of course, these are softened because you want them softened. And we're adding both of our sugars to this. And we're going to cream them well. Once they are creamed, we're going to add the egg and the molasses. See how nice it's together and light this creaming does? Okay, so I'm going to add our egg. We have 1 egg. I always crack it into a glass first. And the molasses, which is very, very thick. And I will need to take a spatula to make sure that I get all of it into the bowl. It really helps make this great. Oh, it smells so good, this molasses. We're going to put that really well so that it's incorporated. Now I'm going to lift this up and just scrape the sides to make sure that I get everything inside. Some of the molasses stuck to the side, some of it stuck to the beater, and we want all of that in together. And once that is nice and incorporated, you don't see any pieces of egg or any pieces of molasses hanging out. I'm going to lift this up, take the beater off, move all of our batter off the beater so we don't lose any of it. And then, whoops. We are going to sift our flour and our spices together into our creamed mixture. Alrighty. And all we're gonna do here is stir this together. And I just use my spatula to stir it. And once it's all stirred up, we're set to bake the cookies. And they smell so good. You can smell the ginger, you can smell the molasses. Look how easily that comes together. Just give your arm a little bit of a workout. Okay, now that looks pretty good. So I have my prepared pan, and I'm going to take my cookie scoop, and I'm going to scoop the cookie dough with this, put it in my hand, roll it a little bit, and then roll it in a raw sugar and put it on the pan. And you can make the cookie scoop, you can make it out of teaspoons, you can do it out of tablespoons, you can make them any size that you want. I happen to like a cookie that's not too large. It allows people to feel like they're not eating a ton of calories when they have a cookie. And maybe they feel like they can have one or two more. And then we're gonna bake this in our 300-degree oven for just about 10 to 13 minutes, I think it says. I keep a close eye on these cookies. So I'm gonna finish putting these on the tray. So all the cookies now are on the pan with the parchment paper underneath it. They're all coated with the raw sugar. My oven is set at 300 degrees, and I'm gonna be putting these in the oven now and baking them. I like to start looking at them about 15 minutes. You know, if you make larger cookies, they may take a little bit longer to bake. These cookies should be a little bit soft in the middle because they continue to bake as you take them out. Cookies out of the oven, they baked about 18 minutes, and I had them cooling in the pan for a couple of minutes so I can easily take them off the pan and into the cooling sheet, the cooling rack. And that's all there is to it. All you have to do. And then look at this. They break nice and soft in the middle. So delicious. B'te'avan.